This is America's Voice.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America, and welcome to America's Voice Now. My name is Michael Evans. I'll be your host this hour. My talking points and bullet points memo this morning is in relation to two news stories. New York's Governor Cuomo is announcing sweeping and draconian new gun laws in an effort to oust or beat Congress to the punch. And sources are indicating that the governor and lawmakers are furiously negotiating a gun ban project that would be as draconian or more so than Governor Feinstein or Senator Feinstein's bill. In other news, an Iowa lawmaker is calling for a retroactive gun ban, including the confiscation of all semi-automatic weapons. In an interview with the Daily Times Herald in Carroll, Iowa, State Representative Dale Mulbauer says government should start confiscating semi-automatic rifles and other firearms. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the process, and we'll see a lot more of this over the course of the next coming months, I can assure you that America will not tolerate confiscation. And furthermore, that our new motto and our slogan in the United States and the slogan of every gun owner in our nation should simply be this: just say no to gun control. Just say no to gun control. Now, I encourage everyone listening to begin to use that slogan when you tweet, if you use Twitter, to post it on your Facebook page, to write it in a letter to your editor of your local newspaper, to communicate with your friends, your business associates, your church, your schools, and the slogan, just say no to gun control, must be heard loud and clear. Reports are coming in that Congress is being swamped with telephone calls, and they are 9-1 against stronger gun control laws. But I can assure you that in typical congressional fashion, they will absolutely ignore those statements. They will ignore the wishes of their constituencies, and they will do as they are told by their party. That is the legacy of Congress. I am telling you that gun control is coming to this country, and it is coming with wings. It is part and parcel and imperative on every person listening to the sound of my voice to take action. You know, one of the mottos that we use here for this show is to educate, inform, motivate, and activate. This is your activation call. You must get on the telephone with your congresspeople, both Senate and House. You must make it very, very clear that additional gun control is not an acceptable vote, that you will do everything in your power to make sure that you volunteer your time, your money, your efforts, your anything that you can do to remove them from Congress if they vote for further gun control on the United States of America. Guns are not the problem. Just like taxes are not the problem, spending is the problem. Guns are not the problem. Mental health and a society completely out of control and out of touch with any kind of bedrock foundational principles, that is what is out of control. Each representative must be given the message, no compromise. Just say no to gun control. No compromise. No compromise. No compromise. Just say no to gun control. It's not optional, ladies and gentlemen. This is a homework assignment. And it will mean the difference between our republic disappearing into that dark night or not. And that wraps my bullet points for this morning. If you'd like to call us and speak with us about this topic, you'd like to contact me and give me your thoughts or your opinions about this, you may call us on the Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline at 257-1111, 866-554-6636. There's a sheriff in Colorado who, unlike most sheriffs around the nation, is actually standing up and doing what he believes to be right. I ask you, where does your sheriff stand? The reason I say that is because this particular sheriff has the courage of his convictions, and he has the courage to stand up and say emphatically, I have assured numerous constituents who have contacted our offices since Barack Obama's election that with my dying breath, I will protect their current and existing constitutional rights. I will protect their constitutional rights with my dying breath. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Mike. Hey, I was in a knee joint the other day, and while sitting there glancing around, I saw on every table within the establishment there was an assault weapon sitting in the middle of every table. And once I notified the owners that those metal encased napkin holders were an assault weapon, they thought they might remove those. And guess what? Next would be the chairs.
Yeah.
And as I'm driving down the road right here, along the side of the road, I see an assault weapon about every 10 feet.
Yep.
Some call them fence posts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These guys don't have a clue. They want to put a big name on one item.
Actually, they do. Actually, they do have a clue, and that's the frightening part of this. They do have a clue.
We don't have to do what they're doing. Some of us do have a clue, but yeah, the stupid assault weapon. Look up the word assault in the dictionary, and then look up the word weapon in the dictionary. See if that works out by putting them together, and see if that designates that that's going to kill somebody.
Yep. Hey, listen, I'm 100% in agreement with you. The FBI numbers just came out the other day, and more people are killed with hammers every year than rifles.
I saw several of those.
Those assault rifles.
Drunk drivers kill more than anybody.
Those assault rifles, as you're probably aware, are beaten out by hammers every year.
That's right.
And that is the simple reality, folks.
I throw every morning and every evening. I throw assault weapons in my furnace out in the backyard every day. It's called chunks of wood.
Yeah.
Mike, see you later, bud.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the tip of the iceberg here. And people like Ronald Bruce, Sheriff Ronald B. Bruce. He's the sheriff of Hinsdale County in Colorado. And he was elected in 2007. He stands with Sheriff Scott Berry of Georgia and will not take his business to other businesses that discriminate against law-abiding citizens in selling semi-automatic rifles. It is time for us to use our economic weight against those who stand against our values. and stand against our constitutional rights and stand against our ability to defend our nation from tyranny. If you don't see the cloud of tyranny building and beginning to overarch our nation from Washington, I encourage you to please go to the window and look. This guy's been a sheriff of Hinsdale County for the past 6 years. Prior to that, he served in the Arizona Department of Public Safety in the Highway Patrol. He retired as a state trooper after serving 28 years. His comment is that if we learn any of our suppliers that normally sold to civilians are now discontinuing those sales, they have lost our business as a department. You see, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're voting with their wallet. They've already taken the initiative to close an account that they had with an online retailer, Cheaper Than Dirt. We canceled our account with Cheaper Than Dirt after they quickly almost doubled their price for .223 and .308 ammunition. They also suspended all assault-type firearm sales to reevaluate their position on this. Read, figure how much they could get away with in the escalation of their prices for semi-automatic carbines. This was immediately after Sandy Hook. So they've closed their account. So Cheaper Than Dirt has brought back the sale of handguns and shotguns, and even semi-automatics in both varieties. But they've not brought back semi-automatic rifles like the AR styles they carried before. And they carry accessories and ammunition, but they're no longer Cheaper Than Dirt. If you have an account with them, call them up, close your account, and tell them why. If you do business with Walmart, make it clear to the manager of your local Walmart that you will cease doing business with Walmart if they support this gun ban. Part of what is going on with Biden's discussion today is going to be with businesses like Walmart, trying to get them to support a gun ban and gun confiscation. Let Walmart know, in no uncertain terms, that a gun ban will lead to a boycott of them. You're listening to America's Voice Now. Find us on the web at www.americasvoicenow.org. We'll be right back.
When a young man turns 18, he is required by law to register with the Selective Service System. The law applies to immigrants residing in the U.S. as well as citizens. The good news is that registering is an important step toward qualifying for citizenship, as well as student loans and federal, state, and municipal jobs. It is even required in some states for a driver's license. To register, go to a U.S. post office and pick up a Selective Service registration card, or register online at www.sss.gov.
America's Voice Now with Michael Evans.
I want you to begin supporting businesses that support our Second Amendment rights. How do you do that? Well, you get over there to places like the Battery Station at 303 Washington Avenue. You get to them on the web at batterystation.com, or you visit their location on Washington Avenue in West Plains. Their phone number is 257-7799. They are staunch, and I do mean staunch, supporters of the Second Amendment. They have bulk ammunition where nobody else has any. And you let them know that you're shopping with them, one, because you heard about them on America's Voice Now, and two, because they are a supporter of the Second Amendment, and that you'll continue to patronize their business over others who aren't. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good morning. When you just mentioned about that slogan of just say no to gun control.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I went ahead right then and called down to a printing office and asked them to make me a stamp to go on all of my envelopes that, we mail out for bills and everything.
Now we're talking.
Right. And it won't cost people probably about $10, maybe $15 to do that. But just think, if we could just get 10 to 15% of the people just in Missouri to do that, look at the people that's going to see that right there.
There you go. In fact, I love that idea. You are brilliant.
Now, okay, I also asked the guy to make me up a bumper sticker at the same time.
Yeah.
And these are going to be the words, and it's going to say on there, Adolf Hitler and Obama have the same thing in common. To make a space, gun control, because that's exactly where they're going.
You need to put the tagline on there, no compromise. Just say no to gun control.
Yeah, right. And so, any rate, now, I have the phone numbers here in front of me, like for Roy Blunt, Claire McCaskill, and Emerson. Of course, Emerson's leaving office, but still she's going to have the number. I know you've got the number.
Give them out. Give them out again. We can't give them out enough as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what I tried to do. I make copies of them, and I give them out to people. Call them. I don't know how well the people pick up on it, whenever, you announce it over the air. But they're in the phone books. That's the thing about it. All people have to do is get up off their duff, get their phone book, and the numbers are right there. All of them. Another question I have for you, though, from a legitimate way, I tell people to listen to 107.1.
Yes, sir.
Am I going against the grain or anything if I put that in any of my own personal advertising to listen to you people?
No. And you're welcome to utilize, I'll tell you right on the air, you're welcome to give them out the web address for this show, which is www.americasvoicenow.org, where they can actually watch the show on the air streaming. And the reason I say that is because if that goes out to other places where where they're not in our broadcast area, they can still capture the show live by seeing it streaming on the web.
Right. Okay.
So
I just didn't want to get in any kind of a legal factor here.
No, and I'm sure
I definitely am not demeaning the show in any way, because I support it 110% all the way.
I got you, and we and I both appreciate that. So, we need 10 million people like you in the nation to take a stand. I tell you right now, you got a great idea. The idea of getting that stamp and putting it not only on every envelope that you send out with your bills every month and all of those kinds of things, but any kind of paper you touch, anywhere you go, you can simply take that and put that and take that and use that stamp to mark down no compromise. Just say no to gun control.
Another thing is that people, if they got a business, put it on the letterhead.
Absolutely.
If they got the guts to do it. And right now, that's what we need, is people with some guts and will.
We need people with brass in their pants.
That's right.
Yes, we do. And it is time that we let Congress know that we are beyond the point where we're going to sit here and silently allow them to rob us of the one thing that our constitutional republic was built upon, which is our right to defend ourselves against tyranny and government.
That's right, because the government is our worst enemy.
They are the enemy right now. I'm here to tell you, folks, if you want to know the one thing that is a threat to our national security, it is the United States federal government.
That is right. That is right. They are our enemy. The criminal doesn't touch us one doggone bit compared to what the government is doing.
Nope.
From the president down.
Listen, all the people that have all been murdered throughout all of the 1900s, okay? Let's just use that as the characterization. Of all the people have been murdered with a firearm in the entire 100-year episode, won't hold a candle to the number of people that have been killed by governments in their first year of genocides. And I'll give you the names of 25 countries that will prove that point.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you now, I've been overseas, and if more people were to see the other countries that have the gun control, and we're about the only one left that has a firearm or the right to have it, they need to go over there. And I'll tell you another thing. People need to go over there and see the remnants of some of the old prisons and everything, well, like Dachau, and where they had the Holocaust and all that. I'll tell you what, you smell death over there. It may sound dirty in the talk, but I'll tell you what, once you're over there seeing that, it is nasty. And that is where we're going to head. Real quick, once our guns are come under the scrutiny that they want right now.
If you don't believe that Obama is a tyrannical dictator just waiting in the bat wings to take over, you are fooling yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. And it's not just him. It's his handlers. It's the people he owes for getting there. This is a guy who came out of nowhere with no track record, no experience, no history, no voting record. And suddenly he's launched into not only into the public spotlight, but into the most powerful position on the planet. The President of the United States. And he immediately goes about setting about to dismantle the nation. One step at a time.
And the thing that really gets me about the Republican Party right now, and naturally you vote Republican, otherwise what else are you going to vote? But we are just, anyway, I personally just don't see where the Republican Party and even the independents right now are standing up against anything he does.
Because they're all doing what they're being told to do too.
They don't have their brass either.
No, they don't.
Because they could stop a lot of the things that he's doing, like his executive orders and everything, and say, "Hey, oh no, you can't do that."
Right. And they're not. They have no courage. They have no courage of their convictions, and they have no courage to stand up and protect the constituencies which placed them into power in the first place. And that is their one and only function.
Now, I'll just say one other thing to all the other people that are listening. Call in and show your own courage and your own brass, because we need people standing up right now, because freedom is right on the vague of right on the elm of destruction. So
yes, sir.
We better get in there and do what we can, because you don't want to live without freedom.
Live free or die. Thank you very much for your call. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, it is live free or die. That is the motto of the state of Vermont. But it's also a statement that came from the mouths of literally all of the founders. I will live free, or I will not live. It is simple. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to put this together. Okay, we've got a break coming up in about a minute. I do want to talk very quickly after we come back from the break about the 4 business gangs that run the United States of America. And I'm going to get specific about this. So when we come back from this break, I just want you to stick with us. We're going to talk about the 4 business gangs that run and operate the United States of America. And then at the end of that discussion, you will understand exactly why the politicians that you have put in place to offer you protection and representation have betrayed you in every nuance of their duty. That's the simple fact. I want you to look over and support our friends over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery at 255-2253, number 2 Evans Arcade on the square in West Plains. Best bakery within 100 miles. You won't be able to find a better one within that range. I promise you that. 255-2253. And I want you to represent Bill Stone when you, or consider having him do some work on your home. If you're thinking about doing some construction, Stone Construction is the place for you to go. They do remodels, custom and new construction, and light commercial, and Bill can be reached at 293-0116. This is a man who puts his money where his mouth is. He's a patriot, and he is a staunch supporter of this program and you by virtue. And I can also tell you that he happens to be very, very proficient at what he does. So if you're considering doing any kind of construction, make sure that you contact him. We'll be back in just a moment with our after our commercial break. I also would like to make sure that you are contacting the folks down at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance, and you can find them at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. They're about a half-mile east of Walmart on Route 62, and you can also reach them via telephone. You can call Brian at 870-492-4030. Outstanding operation and organization, strong patriotic Americans, strong Second Amendment believers, and supporters of this show, and therefore you. Make sure you patronize those folks. We'll be back in a moment, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about the 4 business gangs that run the United States of America. At the end of that topic, you will understand exactly why your representatives have betrayed you.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. Prosecutors in the Colorado movie theater shooting are expected to finish laying out their case today against James Holmes at a hearing on whether he stands trial. They say Holmes spent weeks planning the attack.
It's upsetting. It's sick. You're preparing to take people's lives. It's like, how can you be okay with that? You know, you had months, you're doing this for months.
Chantal Blanc's husband, Johnny, one of 12 people killed in this shooting in July. A deal between Syria's government and rebels fighting it.
A major prisoner swap involving 48 Iranians held by Syria's rebel fighters. They've traded them for 2,000 civilians being held by the Assad regime. Rebels say the Iranians they captured have links to their country's powerful Revolutionary Guard, but Iran has denied this, claiming the hostages were pilgrims.
Fox News Radio's Emily Wither. It's the first major prisoner swap of Syria's civil war. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Here we go with round 2 of Hope and Change. Looking forward looks bumpy and rocky. Nobody's stimulated by high unemployment and tax increases. Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance can help you be ready to face the challenges of the next 4 years. We have long-term food storage, ammunition, informational books and DVDs, water purifiers, and a whole lot more. Come see us at 3225 Highway 62 East, Suite number 3, just a half mile past Walmart in Mountain Home, or call us at 492-4030. That's Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. If you stack their desks one atop the other, it's a pile more than 17,000 feet high. That's 12 Empire State Buildings. But what's truly scary is that another stack is going up tomorrow. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
When it comes to bullying, don't validate, eliminate. Adults have the power to stop bullying in our schools. I'm Dennis Van Rokel, president of the National Education Association. It's up to us as educators, as parents, as adults, to stand up on behalf of bullied kids. Help us create safe, bully-free learning environments for all students. One caring adult can make all the difference. Be that adult and take the pledge at NEA.org/bully-free.
A message from the National Education Association.
Complete service and satisfaction is the Earls Dodge Jeep difference from all the other dealers in the Ozarks. Hello, I'm Janet, and I invite you to come check out our new and pre-owned on the lot at Earls Dodge Jeep on North Highway 63 across from the fairgrounds in West Plains, where we go out of our way to make you happy. That means doing what it takes to make sure you're satisfied with your total package on your new purchase, which means taking care of you after the sale. It all adds up at Earls Dodge Jeep, where buying a vehicle is as simple as it should be.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, we'll have a mostly cloudy sky, rather cloudy through the day with a slight chance for a shower, high 56. Cloudy with showers tonight and tomorrow, the low tonight 44, high tomorrow 62. Tomorrow night's going to be mostly cloudy, low 42. Sunshine returns on Friday, high 62. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, chance for a thunderstorm or two, high 58. Sunday's going to be mostly sunny, high 38. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi, and for more information, check out our website, the all-new My1071thepoint.com.
America's Voice Now with Michael Evans.
There are 4 gangs that run the United States of America. I'm going to be posting this up on the web today because this is probably one of the most telling articles that really exposes on an overall umbrella level exactly how our country has descended into tyranny. This is a gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Sachs. He's an economist from Columbia University. Now, remember for a moment that Columbia is perhaps, it is a bastion of liberal progressive thought. And yet this fella has written a book called The Price of Civilization. Corporate wealth translates into political power through campaign financing, corporate lobbying, and the revolving door of jobs between government and industry. And political power translates into further wealth through tax cuts, deregulation, and sweetheart contracts between government and industry. Wealth begets power, and power begets wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure that truer words can have been spoken. There are 4 key sectors in the United States that are exemplifying the takeover of political power in America that is being accomplished by a corporatocracy. Now, for those of you who are not aware of it, I used to have a blog out there called Corporatocracy, because it is an exemplification and an exact duplicate of the scenario where corporations now run our government. The military-industrial complex was warned, or we were warned, by Eisenhower when he left the presidency in '61. And he warned us that the linkage of military and private industry would create a political power so pervasive that America has been condemned to militarization, endless and useless wars, and fiscal waste on a scale of tens of trillions of dollars. Does that sound familiar for you folks? Secondly, the Wall Street-Washington complex. That steers our financial system. And it directs control to a very few politically powerful Wall Street firms, notably Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, and a handful of other financial firms. Now, what you need to recognize is, and I've been talking about this for a long time, every single U.S. Treasury Secretary, Republican or Democrat, comes from Wall Street and goes back there when their term ends. Now, I alerted you when I talked about the Council on Foreign Relations and their membership lists, and I read you the name of Treasury Secretary after Secretary after Secretary after Secretary, and every one of them was not only came from Wall Street, but was a member of the CFR. And at the end of their term on Wall Street, or their term in government, they went back to a very, very cushy job where they were paid off for the 3 or 4 or 2 or 6 years or whatever their term was, where they took a pay cut to leave Wall Street, go to the federal government, take a job as a Treasury Secretary where they make whatever they make, a couple $100,000 instead of a few million, and then they vacate that job, go back to industry, and they are paid in the tens of millions of dollars for having betrayed and corrupted our government one more step down the ladder. Every one of them comes from Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley. Look at the names, follow the money. The next is the big oil and military complex, transport military complex. Now, this is the trajectory of the compilation of big oil in the United States and in the world. And it is the concept of heavy oil imports creating a dependence factor in the United States, and the military trap that it is enabling us to be sucked into in the Middle East. Why are we involved in the Middle East? I mean, honestly, they pose very, very little true threat to us on our homeland. However, they provide a significant threat to us when they risk our ability to be cut off from oil, the lifeblood of American capitalism. Now, we have left the path of capitalism a long, long time ago, and we have redirected ourselves into this corporatocracy where capitalism now controls government. And you've heard me say it before, and I'm going to say it again. Stalin coined the phrase, fascism is capitalism in decline. I'm going to say it again. Fascism is capitalism in decline. We are in declining capitalism, growing fascism, and the simple reason is this. these industrial complexes must force government to act on their behalf, not yours. And they pay trillions of dollars to make that work. They make trillions of dollars too. And so the money just keeps running around in circles. Since we have gotten into a position where we are being forced to deal with conflicts over in the Middle East, over in Afghanistan and Iraq, over in Syria, that has nothing to do with the United States homeland. It has nothing to do with the protection of our nation. Any Democrat or Republican out there, any senator who tells you that we're over there fighting for the defense of the homeland of the United States of America is telling you an absolute unmitigated lie. They are telling you a lie straight to your face. We are there for oil. We are in Afghanistan because Afghanistan has what? The world's #1 lithium supply. And what is lithium used for? Batteries and energy. Make no mistake about it, folks. We are not in the Middle East for any reason other than a private army for corporations and big oil. And that is the simple truth. And our young men and our young women are dying for that lie. It's shameful and it's pathetic, but it's true. There's a fourth gang of thugs that has simply just essentially taken over our a vast percentage of our economy. 17% of it, to be exact. 17% of the U.S. gross domestic product is tied up in what? What's the one piece of the puzzle I've left out? Healthcare. Healthcare. That's your fourth gang of thugs. Now recognize that when you're talking about 17% of a gross domestic product, that's $15 trillion is our gross domestic product. So do the math. You are talking about $3 trillion a year, per year, in play money. If you don't think that attracts power, I suggest that you really study up on human nature. The healthcare industry is directing government and consistently utilizing its power and authority to further subjugate you. Why does your doctor ask you if you own firearms? Did you know that your health care records in total now will be forwarded to the federal government under Obamacare? Everything that you've ever had, every reason you've ever been to a doctor, the federal government will now be able to build into their dossier under Obamacare. It has nothing to do with health care, people. It has everything to do with control and information. And they want it on you. And they're getting it. Because our Congress was bought off. Our Congress was threatened, cajoled, bribed, pick the adjective you like. But they've betrayed our interest, and they've betrayed the United States of America. They've betrayed their oath to you, to our nation, and to their states. That is the simple truth. These four key operative gangs run the United States of America. And make no mistake, we are talking about trillions of dollars. Everyone and anyone is expendable when we talk about that kind of money, including you, including me. We are all expendable when it comes to trillions of dollars, when it comes to power that is unimaginable in the minds of the average American citizen. the power to move entire economies, the power to control millions upon tens of millions of Americans. It ain't about free phones. It ain't about health care. It's not about supporting our soldiers overseas. That's all the smokescreen, people. 4 gangs run our nation, and they don't have your best interest at heart. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'd like to hear from you folks. I'd like you to light up this phone bank. You can call us on the Wits End Classic Barbershop Hair Hotline at 257-1111 and 866-554-6636. Give us your opinion and your ideas about these 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We'll be right back.
I know what you're thinking, Bunk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Dirty Harry gets all his ammo from the battery station. John Rambo, you guessed it. He gets his ammo from the battery station too. So if you need ammo, go to the place where the guys who know about ammunition go. The battery station. They have one of the largest supplies of ammunition in the area. So make sure you're stocked up and don't get low on shells. Go to the battery station at 303 Washington Avenue in West Plains.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
America's Voice Now with Michael Evans.
Here we go, America, the dawning of a new age. Tyranny reigns in the former republic. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on some of your groups there, and particularly the involvement of the United States in the Middle East and our economic system. They serve the interests of a Jewish elite, and I don't say every Jew is involved in this at all, but there is a global Jewish elite. And we went into Iraq not for oil, but to serve the interests of Israel. And Israel had benefited.
I tell you what, I would disagree with you. I think our government is far more influenced by Muslims today than it is by Jews. And I'm going to tell you something. You know, this whole thing about Benghazi has absolutely nothing to do with anything other than the fact that we were utilizing Libyan arms to smuggle those into support Syrian rebels who are, in fact, Muslim Brotherhood. And that's what this was really all about, folks. The reason that CIA complex was left off the map and was hidden away from it was not a consulate. This was a place where individuals met with our ambassador, who was in the business of smuggling arms, captured arms from Libya, into Syria to the rebels, because we couldn't publicly come out and arm them. I'm telling you right now that there is a whole lot more to Benghazi than we will ever know. And that is not in the best interest of the Jewish population. So I disagree with you. You're entitled to your opinion, and I've heard the idea before. But with all due respect, I disagree with you on a personal level and on a professional level.
Well, look at Iraq, for example. If we went in there for oil, why is it that China is the main beneficiary right now? It is Chinese companies.
Because we owe them $1 trillion. That's why. So, if you don't think we're doing China's bidding, just like we're doing the bidding of the J.P. Morgan, Chase, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs, who, by the way, are also heavily financially tied to China, you're kidding yourself. This is all about money. Follow the money.
Well,
and let me tell you something. I have to tell you, the people who are really truly interested don't have all this power. They don't care about religion. They don't care about politics. They don't care about national sovereignty. They're not interested in any of that. They don't swear allegiance to anything except power and money.
Well, I think you're right in part, but as a sort of a footnote, let me just note that you mentioned the Treasury Department as being in cahoots with the Wall Street financial thing, and this new Treasury Secretary, his name is they call him Jack Lew. His real name is Jacob Lewinsky, and he is a Jew, like most of the people in Goldman Sachs and the J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley and all the rest of them. Those are controlled by Jews, Michael. And I know you don't like to hear it, but there is a tribal elite, and they have for hundreds of years been aiming at a global dominance, a supremacy that is based upon money, and that's the fact. So
okay, well, yeah, and I agree. I stated to you earlier that you're entitled to your opinion. I disagree with that on a personal level.
All right.
But and that's fine. We're you know what, the beauty of this is that we both have the right to disagree and or agree based on what our political beliefs and thoughts are. On mine, I just disagree, but and on this point. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, it doesn't really matter what religion or what ethnic background they are. Tyranny is tyranny, and I don't give a damn whether it's at the hands of a Jew or if it's at the hands of a Russian or if it's at the hands of a Chinaman or if it's at the hands of a banker. Yeah. End of discussion.
Well,
that's what matters.
We both stand for the same principles. It's just that you would probably oppose the New World Order, and I oppose the Jew World Order because it is a Jew World Order, and so it's a matter of semantics, I suppose. But we stand on the same ground. I think we're just looking at it a little differently.
Yep, and I hear you there. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike. Morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hey, you pointed it out, but, there's evil in this world in every ethnicity, every race, every creed, color, faith, and in business in 25 years, I can tell you the Jews have treated me golden. Mm-hmm. So...
that last caller, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I've heard the argument before that the Jews are in a great conspiracy to run the world. I disagree. I don't think they give a damn about religion. I don't think they care about ethnicity. I don't think they care about race. I don't think they care about anything except money and power. And the simple truth of the matter is that there's a lot of people involved in this who aren't of any denomination or religious background or ethnic background that would even closely resemble Jewish. And, the banking industry is what it is. These people were in play a lot longer and have been running the financial system of our nation. They're the ones who put in play the Federal Reserve System. And,
right.
I don't know. I don't even want to get off on the whole argument of whether or not it's Jews versus somebody else. The simple truth is, it's power-mad, power-hungry egoists who are elitists and want you dead and or enslaved.
If you want to study a world takeover that involves, and I hate to use the word religion because it's not, study Islam. Look at Muhammad.
Right. World domination or die.
Right. It's a shame to call it a religion because it's not. It's a way of life that is directly detrimental to anybody else's way of life that is not a Muslim.
Sure. It's domination or bust. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
See ya.
Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Caller, you're on.
Hey, got kicked off there, Mike.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're on.
Hey, started this assignment that you gave about a week and a half ago, and lines were pretty hectic with that counterfeit Canyon business. Anyway, what I'm really sick and tired of hearing is the domestic enemy constantly harping on the term "well-regulated." They like to give that definition, but say very little about the word militia. And when I call them, I let them know American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language in 1969 says plainly, number one, a citizen's army as distinct from a professional body of soldiers. Number two, the armed citizenry as distinct from the regular army. And number three, able-bodied male citizens of any state who are not members of the regular armed forces. So that takes care of that argument.
Yeah. The reality is that, they don't really care whether or not, you have a decent and reasonable explanation or definition of what they classify militia. Their goal is really has very little to do with that. They don't really give a darn how you classify it. They're going to reinterpret it and redefine it in the way that gives them the result they like.
Well, you just got to continually remind them, hey, you better vote no on this stuff, because here was the original intent, and they start that mealy-mouthed stuff about that's for the armed forces. And well,
I'm gonna read you something that'll blow your mind.
Go ahead.
George Washington. Here's his quote: "From the hour the Pilgrims landed to the present day, events, occurrences, and tendencies prove that to ensure peace, security, and happiness, the rifle and pistol are equally indispensable. The very atmosphere of firearms everywhere restrains evil interference. They deserve a place of honor with all that is good." George Washington.
Right on the money.
Folks, if you want a better example of what the founders thought, I don't know where you're going to find one. That's why the Second Amendment was said to shall not be infringed.
Hey, that excellent there. That group of four you were talking about earlier, that reminds me of American Pie again. It's a funeral dirge of America as we know it.
Sure.
And nothing to do with Buddy Holly and them lies. But anyway, there's a little phrase in there, the quartet practiced in the park, and that park is America. So, hey, I'll let you go.
Hey, thanks so much for your call. Appreciate you, Joe.
Bye.
Have a great day. Okay, folks, we're going to wrap this show. We are driving every day to try to educate, inform, motivate, and activate people. And we need your help. We need your help in a host of ways. I want you to take that earliest caller's advice and go out and spend $10 and get yourself a stamp that says "No compromise. Just say no to gun control." No compromise. Just say no to gun control. And stamp that on everything and anything that you touch, without being abusive, of course. We don't want to break the law, and we don't want to, be a graffiti nation. But what we do want is everybody to get the message. No compromise. Just say no to gun control. If you have a business, put it on your letterhead as suggested by that other caller. Make sure that you are doing everything in your power to fight back. If you don't, the destiny and the answers are plain and simple to be found. We don't have to be, rocket scientists to know where this is headed. Find us on americasvoicenow.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/America's Voice Now. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com/America's Voice Now. Please find us on the web, and there's a button on there where you can donate. We are in desperate need of some assistance from you guys for some of the expenses and the fees that we bear on an everyday basis. Please do what you can to help. I know that this is an area where economic times are rough, but we could really use some help. And if you'd be willing to donate, you can do that through PayPal. If you're unwilling to do it that way, you can mail a check to us here at America's Voice Now, 10 Court Square, West Plains, Missouri, 65775. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
107.1, The Point, KBMV, Birch Tree, West Plains.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. A lot of Americans are sick.
He's, just very